Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a cinema. And let me know down below in the comment section if you saw where I was hiding in the intro. I think I was quite sneaky. The white concrete grid on the ground represents the amount of space required to make the cinema. And I have also marked out the starting position where we will begin building. If you plan on making this in a world where you are going to be placing it near other builds, I would always recommend making the grid and marking out the starting point. Here are all of the materials that you will need to make the cinema. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these. Begin by placing a light blue terracotta on top of the previously designated starting position. Extend it to the right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then place 2 red concrete extending right. 1, 2. Extend them 2 rows forward. 1, 2. Take the middle of these red concretes and extend it to the right by 1 using terracotta. Dig a row of 3 in the ground going right, 1, 2, 3, place light blue terracotta in there, and on the end of this, place a terracotta. Next to it, a red concrete, and in front of this, 3 more, 1, 2, 3. Then extend to the right by 3, 1, 2, 3. Then extend backwards by 3, 1, 2, 3. Place a terracotta extending right of the third concrete. And then in the ground, I want you to dig a row of 3 going right, 1, 2, 3, place light blue terracotta in there. On the end, place a terracotta. Right of this, place 2 red concrete, 1, 2. Extend these red concretes 1 row forwards, but also 1 row back. Right of the back row, place a row of 7 light blue terracotta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We then want to extend the light blue terracotta backwards by 20 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then we want to extend this 20th block all the way across the back of the build and join it ultimately to the front of the build, and that will give us the outline of our cinema. So just to give you a little bit of a bird's eye look, there we go, that's perfect. It kind of looks like a really weird helmet. Weird space age helmets aside, what we now want to do is build up some detail on the front of the build. This is where most of the detail is going to be placed. So on the front of the build, we are first of all going to focus on the red concrete areas on the left and right sides. We want to take the red concretes and extend them upwards by 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we are going to do this with all of these blocks, like so. It will take a moment to do. And once we have done this on this side, we are equally going to do it on the right side as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll extend up each of these. The reason that we are doing both sides simultaneously is because we are going to connect these sides together. So we want something to connect to. Perfect. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to take out on the left side we will begin, we are going to take out this back corner block here, place a terracotta and extend it upwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. Extend all the way over to the right, we do not have to count this out, and join down into the corner of the opposite row of red concrete to give us this shape. Then we want to join the terracottas together, the ones that we took out of the red concrete. We want to join them together like this. Next, we want to divide the area that we have made into windows. So if we start from the left side here, and from the bottom to the top place a row of terracotta, 2 rows of black glass, 3 rows of terracotta, 2 rows of glass, 3 rows of terracotta, 2 rows of glass, and then finally just fill the end in here, that will look perfect. Underneath the entire terracotta area that we have just placed, we want to add an additional row of terracotta. We then, however, want to extend that row of terracotta forwards to create depth. We are then going to extend the left and right sides of the terracotta down. You'll notice that that connects to the previously placed terracottas at the base of the cinema. We can then extend the terracottas that we have moving towards the center, upwards, like this, and then we are going to add a couple of rows of terracotta underneath this to limit the amount of space that we're going to be working with. So in doing this, this will make a couple of areas. So on the left and right side, we want to have doorways. That's made by placing a row of black glass on the inside portion of the terracotta here with black glass pane. We then want to have an end rod suspended in front of the center pane, and we want the exact same thing on the opposite side. So it's up to you whether you want to have it like both on the right side, so asymmetrical, or whether you want to have it symmetrical, so you would start on the inside portion, but I kind of like the asymmetrical look where the door is the same on both sides. It's completely personal. What we then want to do is raise the red concrete that we have up in the center. More so, the left and right sides, we want to raise the red concrete up until it is 1 row higher than the actual door, like this, or doors. We're going to fill the middle of the top in using red concrete, and then we're going to have a row of glass pane on the right side of the window on the front. Now, balanced on top of this area, we want to place a row of block of iron, like this, and extend the iron 2 rows to the left and 2 rows to the right, like so. We then want to place red concrete on the ends of the block of iron row, and then we're going to extend the red concrete 1 row upwards in addition to the iron. I think that we are also going to have to extend this an additional row outwards, but that's perfectly okay. So far, this is what we have, but it will look better if we extend all of this 1 row forward. So all of the red concrete and all of the block of iron, because it will just keep creating the layers of depth that we really need to make this cinema sort of like pop. We don't want it to look flat, it wants to look live and animated. So now that we have done that, we are going to stack some red carpet on top of the red concrete, the block of iron, and the little row of terracotta that we have at the back. So it's just going to add just a tiny little bit more level of detail. There's nothing too much more to say about it. And now that we have achieved a basic level of detail on the front of the build, we are now going to build up some of the other walls. So to start building up the walls, it's really simple. The first thing that we are going to do is on the lower part of the walls, on top of the light blue terracotta, we are going to stack 3 rows of terracotta with a row of block of iron on top. That is going to go all the way around the base of the cinema. Once that's complete, we are then going to add a row of red concrete around the outside of the block of iron. That's just going to add a nice trim around the top, and it's also going to connect to the center of the cinema. It just looks quite nice. Then we are going to extend the top part of the cinema backwards. This is the area with the terracotta and the windows. We extend the top of it back until it is 1 row inside of the block of iron that we placed earlier. It doesn't sit on top of it, it sits 1 row inwards. We extend the tops back, we extend them down, we fill the sides of the center higher part of the cinema in with the terracotta, We then extend the red concrete that sits on the side of the centerpiece, we extend that back and we just flare it around the edge of the back. We don't connect it together, although we could, we just flare it around the back. Then all we simply have to do is fill the two lower side roofs in using block of iron and the high roof in using terracotta. That sounds like a lot, but it's actually really simple and a relatively quick process. With all of that complete, it's now time for us to add further detail to the cinema. Most, if not all of this detail is going to be applied to the front. So, step 1, we are going to add some movie posters to the cinema. This is going to be placed on the left and right side. We want to leave a gap of 1 between the edge of the terracotta area here, and we want to box in some 2x2 posters. So any will kind of do, to be honest, because any of the paintings can be interpreted as movie posters, and we want to hang some lanterns in between them, like this, to kind of illuminate the area. In front of this also, we are going to place leaves underneath the movie posters, kind of like in 2x2 squares. And we are going to do this on both sides, of course. So let's box in some more 2x2 paintings, preferably different ones as well. So again, even these, I mean, are perfectly fine. If you have your own preferences for what you think looks more so like movie posters, then you feel free, but to me, all of those, bueno. So the next thing that we are going to do is add in some pavement, I suppose. So to connect the cinema into a street or a road or wherever it is you might be placing this, more than likely you're going to want to have a pavement in front of it, or at the very least some sort of walkway. For me, that is going to be made using smooth stone. So digging in front of the cinema, pretty much everywhere in front of the leaves that we have added, we're going to dig all of it out and replace it using smooth stone, or your sidewalk / pavement of choice, or whatever flooring material you would like to use. So with the pavement added on the edges of the pavement, and I don't know why I want to add this, but it just kind of works, I'm going to place an end rod on the corners with 2 chains extending inwards from the end rods, and I want to repeat that twice, so we'll have an end rod, 2 chains, and then end rod. So that is what we want to have. You can extend it further inwards, but I'm not 100% sure what this is. It's just kind of like a little barrier, so we're literally just going to be doing this twice, extending in towards the center, and I just think that it's a nice sort of classy looking bit of detail. The only detail left to add to our cinema before we move on to the interior is the sign. So this is really simple. First of all, we are simply going to add some glow item frames to the edge of the sign, so in front of the red concrete, left and right of the block of iron. Next, we are going to throw a loom on the ground, get rid of the loom out of the inventory. We are going to crack it open and we are going to start writing cinema, so brand new white banner in there, black dye, vertical row of black on the left side of the banner, horizontal at the top and the bottom. That is the first letter that we need to make, that is C. Next we have to make I, vertical row of black straight up the middle of the banner. Next would be N, so vertical row of black on the left, on the right, diagonal row top left corner to bottom right corner. Next would be E, so that's a vertical row of black on the left, horizontal at the top, through the middle, along the bottom. So next would be M. So M, we want to have the triangle pattern at the top of the banner, put white dye in there, the bunch of little triangles, put black dye back in, and then put a vertical row of black on the left and right. Last but not least is A, so that's a vertical row of black on the left, right, horizontal on the top, and then straight through the middle. Perfect. Cinema. So cinema is literally written if we leave a gap of 1 from the edge where we placed the item frames, C-I-N-E-M-A, cinema. That is perfect. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, we have actually completed the first part of this tutorial. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, please do remember to like and subscribe. Click the little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all of my videos sent directly to your sub box. And if you want to make part 2 of my cinema, easiest way to find it is the description below. But I will also leave a link on the screen right now that will show you what the part 2 thumbnail looks like, so either click that at the end of this video, it will be on the end screen, or in the suggested videos, I'm sure it's there. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye!